is cross coverage? Let me first explain in one way what is cross coverage, right? Okay, so you want to, let's say in a design, you have three values. One is A, one is B, one is C. Now you have created, it's a single bit. I'm giving a very basic example. It is single bit. Now, what are the possible values of A? 0 and 1. Possible values of B, 0 and 1. Possible values of C, 0 and 1. Clear? Now you run the simulation. So you have created cover group for A. Sorry, cover point for A. So if 0 is hit, 1 is hit. If B 0 is hit, 1 is hit. If C 0 is hit, 1 is hit. So you mentioned that your cover group beans, right? So you have 6 beans now. 0 1, 0 1 for B, 0 1 for C. Let's say you hit everything. Is your coverage 100%? My question. Is your coverage 100%? No. The simple answer is no. Why? You would ask, I have covered all possible combinations of A, B, and C. Why my coverage is still not 100%? So there is another matrix to it. Think about A, B, C you have covered. But when A is 0, right? Did you cover B is 0 and B is 1? Did you cover this matrix? First question. Now you have covered 0 and 1. At that time, you never know what is the value of A. If A is equal to 1, at that time, did you check whether the value of B is also 0 and B value is 1? It means that you need to cross each and every bit with each other signal so that you will get a complete coverage. That's called cross coverage. Cross coverage means you would cross multiple bins with each other and then you would get a list of coverage bins which would make sure that all possible combinations you hit or all possible combinations are generated. So it means that in this case, how many combinations are possible? 8 combinations are possible. So what are those? Let's take a simple example. If A is 0, B can be 0, C can be 0. If A is 0, B can be 1, B can be 0, C can be 1. If A is 0, B is 0, B would be 1. So then C would be 0. So all the 8 combinations you would get. Right? Similarly, for A equal to 1, how do you get it? B should be 0, 0, A 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, then 1, 1, 1. So these 8 combinations you have to hit in this case, right? So that is the cross coverage. You don't have time to write all these combinations. If user wants to write it, user doesn't have time. So what user will do or the what tool has given or the language has given was cross. What you do, you have defined your cover bins for A, bin for B and bin for C. If you do cross A, B and C, it will automatically create bins for all these 8 combinations. Clear? Now let's take an example. Okay, so let's take an example. Okay, so you are right now coming to generic coverage, transition coverage, cross coverage. Okay. See, let's take an example of cross coverage here. Here, there are how many variables I have taken? One is y, one is z. Y and z, two variables I have taken. Everyone is 2-bit variables, 1 down to 0. Everyone has been defined. Now I have created two cover points. One is cover point y, cover point z. Correct? So I have created a coverage where by default, so this is the implicit coverage as I mentioned. So how many cover bins it would create? It would create two auto bins, right? One is for 0, one is for 1. Now, sorry, 2 down to 0. It will create 4 auto bins. Okay, 4 auto bins means 0, 1, 2, 3. So 1 down to 0, right? So 4 auto bins would be created here. Here 4 auto bins would be created in J. Then I have done this cross of cover point. So in cross, you remember, you have to not, you have don't have to cross y and g. You have to cross the cover point name, what you have defined. Remember this point. Okay, cross would be on the cover point name, what you have defined. Okay, then you do a user defined name here for that cross. Okay, then you created, and similarly for each and every y values, I have swept across, right? So this is what being done. Now let's run this. To clear what we am doing, I'm only doing a cross between the previous defined cover points. Let's see how it looks like. Okay. Okay, so this is from the cross coverage. Let's load it. Okay, so now let's open the cover group what we have defined. We have defined only main CG, right? In the cross coverage, if you see, I have defined only one cover group, that is the CG. Inside this, you have 3 cover points. Check here. In this case, you have defined only one CG. You have one cover point, that is Y. You have 4 auto bins created, as I mentioned, because it is 1 down to 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Cover point G, you have also again 4 bins created. If you see the cross, this is the cross you have created. How many combinations did you get it? So here, if you see, here you have the bins created. Your cover point Y cross with cover point Z. Here cover point Y cross with cover point Z. Here cover point Y cross with cover point Z. Here cover point Y cross with cover point Z. So like this, it has been crossed each and every combination. Total 16 combination it would come. Here you might be thinking why it is showing only 3, 6, 8. That is what your understanding, right? Why it is showing? Because here if you see, auto has been taken from 0 to 3. If you try to this is tool has created, right? So if you want to again like hit all these combination all together, you will get 16 combination there. Here why it is showing that 0 to 3, but you can see the size. size is 4. It means that there are 4 bins are actually hidden here. You got my point? So if you add all these size, you have 4 bins here. You have 4 bins here. So 4, you count the size. Here 4 bins. Here 4 bins. Here calculate the size. 4 plus 1, 5, to 7, 11, 13, 13 single one, 16. So altogether 16 combinations you would get. Clear? So cross means you would create all the cross combinations of it. Clear now?